All right, let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rucha Kudash. Welcome to another live lesson. Just bear with me 1 second. Yeah, the name of this one is The Daughters of Zion Have Turned to Monsters. And this is based off of this video you see before you. It's a very disturbing video, needless to say. I put it in the description box. This video pretty much ruined my day, you know. Not that we're surprised, about situations like this, but it's just disheartening, you know what I mean? Just to see the cruel shit that these demons, these scumbags that call themselves women, you know, do. Especially, the majority of the so-called black women in America. The shit that they do is just the fucking deplorable. This video had me, shedding a couple of tears earlier, man. I had to gather myself together because I was just like, this is just some fucking bullshit, you know. And if just a heads up, it's very disturbing. So I mean, they don't really show footage. They kind of cover up the main parts, but nevertheless, it's just. I mean, it's not surprising, but it is disheartening, So watch it at your own risk. So what I want to start off with, is the Book of Lamentation. I had sent this video to a few brothers, and the elder Karatazar, which was one of them, he sent me a scripture, which we all know, but it was just when he sent it to me, it was just a perfect scripture. So I told him I'm going to use it, Lord's will, for this lesson. But we'll get to that when we come to it. I want to start off here, Lamentation chapter 4, verse 3. It says, even the sea monsters draw out the breast. So you got to understand, this is a monster, a sea monster, Leviathan, or some other sea creature, some other sea monster that's in the seas that doesn't, have, the ability to reason like a human. It says what? They draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones, see? So even they procure the care of their, offspring. It says, the daughter of my people is become cruel like the ostriches in the wilderness, And this is so true. These things out here that you call women, especially the majority of you black women, the other tribes too, but we're dealing with you because you are, my goodness, that's why the Lord's going to delete the majority of you here in America. The word there for cruel is akazar, right here, apparently meaning to act harshly, cruel, fierce, bold, brave, daring, an enemy, used of poison, virulent, because you women are, the majority of you here in America, you're nothing but a bunch of fucking viruses and parasites, you know what I mean? So it's just, the Lord's going to do a number on you, and all this shit is coming out. It's all coming out. All right, so now let's go from there to Job chapter 39. It's talking about the ostrich. Yeah, where the Lord compared the nigger woman to an ostrich. Cruel. Job 39:16. She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. I'm tired. Fuck you tired about, bitch. This whole fucking society here in America caters to you, to your every fucking whim. The fuck you tired of? Giving people hell? Her labor is in vain without fear, because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither had he imparted to her understanding. So she is hardened against her young ones. Now this is talking about a ostrich, or a peacock here in this case. Well, actually, an ostrich. But the Lord compared you women, especially the women of the southern kingdom, especially the Judite women, like these ostriches, cruel, you know. And we've, I mean, you gotta understand, this is nothing new. Babies found dead in dumpsters because their mothers just dropped them off. They let them just fucking die. Putting them in ovens and microwaves, and I mean, it's boy, oh boy, oh boy. And matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the scripture, the first scripture he sent me. And then we're gonna jump up. Let's see what verse that is. Right here. Verse Ecclesiastes 25:19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Because our forefather, King Solomon, who is Yahushai? Fucking vocab, man. They teach that King Solomon is Christ. Well, he is Yahushai, or was Yahushai in the past. Same spirit. Let's go from there to, what did I say I was gonna go? Shalakia, just trying to remember the precept that just came to mind. If it doesn't come back to mind, then I'll just continue on with the scripture where I was previously at. I was just about to go somewhere. All right, so we'll skip that for now. Come back to it if it comes back, Lord's will. It's something I have on this list. Yeah, okay, Barak Te'ah Bashim Shai. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman. Yeah, because a woman, pretty much, you even got women coming out saying how evil women are. So you few sisters that's hanging on in there that are really sincere, count yourself blessed, man. Because the majority of these animals out here, they are just fucking nothing but beasts. And it's like the Judite woman went from the most desirable to the most despised and the most despicable. And it's like they cloned Keisha too, not just Tyrone. All these fucking women look the same. Got them fucking stupid ass. You don't realize how stupid them stupid shits that you got on your fucking eyes look. Them stupid tarantula, legs that you got for eyelashes. You don't see how stupid and ridiculous you look. Looking like Transformers. Every last one of them looks like a goddamn. It's like an assembly line of Satan. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart, meaning her mind, is snares and nets. It's all about traps. It's all about fucking games. You don't know if the bitch is telling you the truth or not. But if the bitch lips are moving, she's lying. And her hands as bands, meaning she'll trap you up. And you see that. Many there be that have gone out there, witchful women, They'll go out and they'll bear the sea and the perils. They'll go robbing and stealing to bring the shit back to these fucking skanks. These CUM dumpsters. You know? Whew, man. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. It says, behold, this have I found. And King Solomon can speak because he had 1,000 women. And King Solomon was about analyzing things and searching things out and looking into watching people and seeing their demeanor and seeing how they function, seeing what comes out of their pie hole. And he said, saith the preacher, counting one by one, because he went through each one of his women, just like he went through, the same amount of women that he had. He went and he pretty much did the same litmus test on men. It says, to find out the account which yet my soul seeketh. So even after he did all of that research, he's still trying to find out what about these women. It says, but I find not. He couldn't find it. He couldn't find the answer. One man among 1,000 have I found. So out of 1,000 men that the King Solomon spoke to, he found out that one of them was righteous, right? But a woman among all those have I not found. Women are just pure evil, especially in this society. So like I said, you few sisters that's hanging in there that, that are sincere, that are not full of shit, that are just not, being fake docile. Shalom, brother. And then, when the doors are shut, you are straight up fucking wicked demon. Because the worst women, the ones out here are worse, but the ones that are in the truth that come in here with that same mindset, those are the worst. That shit had me fucking, ugh. Anyway, let's go back. Try to stay focused. All right, so back in Ecclesiastes 25 and 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. And you see that, man. It's like as each day goes by, you see more and more how wicked these women are. And we're at the point where, the scriptures say that the love of many shall wax cold. These women, love has been waxed cold. They shit stays in the frigid zone. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And brothers had looked this up before, and that word for cold is cold. The word there is suke or suko, where you get the word psycho from. These women are a bunch of fucking psychos. To breathe, blow, cool by blowing. To be made or grow cool or cold, metaphorically, of waning love. You have a waxing moon and a waning moon. Waxing moon means the moon is increasing. The waning moon means the moon is decreasing. So their love is decreasing. The very little bit of love they may have had in that black ass heart of theirs, that dark demonic heart of theirs, is waxing colder and colder. And that's the only time that word appears in the New Testament. I don't even want to see that shit no more. Let me see something. Just bear with me 1 second. For now. Psycho, an unstable and aggressive person, exhibiting unstable and aggressive behavior. And that's these women, an unstable and aggressive person. That's why it says our ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Now that's going into, you know, there's these false philosophies, but you could also apply it to these women. Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 6. At least thou shouldest ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Right. And that's why these women are so demonic, because they got all kind of men's DNA all up in them. And you can't even put it into words. Nevertheless, let's continue on, man. Ecclesiastes 25:14, and any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me. Or matter of fact, Salakia, I'm going to just jump to some of the main points. Verse 16, I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. It says, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Matter of fact, I got the GNT pulled up. I want to, let's see, 17th verse. It says, her beautiful face and attractive figure are as lovely as the light from the sky. Something. Oh no, that was 26. Salakia, my bad. That's the 26th chapter. When we get there, we get there. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. And that's why these men that are trying to make a housewife out of these skanks, they go out of their fucking mind. Don't be surprised that a bitch, do some stupid shit. When you met her, she was a skank. You think you're going to change that? And when we go to the next chapter, 26th chapter, speaks about a woman that gads abroad, that's all over the place. She don't stay home, and she's in a drunkard. What you think she going to do? Drinking and smoking and all that shit, getting high, that shit impairs your judgment. And they're not going to, they're going to, whatever feels good to them, that's what they're going to do. This horrific moment was just the beginning. Abortion is still a lucrative business scheme in America since 1973. This predatory industry has claimed the lives of 20 million black children in the nation. Damn. And that's why, like, when we were in San Francisco, we would go for our little walks. They had, like, in this plaza, they had, you had different stores, but they had a Planned Parenthood. And every time I walked by there, I just threw curses up on it. Every time I walked by there, I just put curses on that place. So here's the main point here. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Let's jump from there to verse, like I said, I'm just jumping around. 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. Right, because all you thinking about is with your rod. You want to just pop the chick, and then you drop seed in her, and she has children, and this is the shit that happens. Bitch end up deleting the children. Oh my God, I can't believe she would do something like that. You dumb mother, That's why, like Elder Pastor said, man, don't deal with that. Don't be. You can't be dealing with that brown sugar. And if you do, if that's your cup of tea, hey, that's they do you, but don't come to us with your problems. You deal with that shit. What they say, you made the bed, so you lie in it. That's why it says, and desire her not for pleasure. Now you got these stupid clowns, you can't be, doing. So what the fuck you gonna do? You're not gonna be, you're gonna get a woman, right? and you're not really attracted to her, and then how are you gonna have sex with her if she's not desirable, if you don't find her attractive, or if you don't have some type of motion for pleasure with her, you stupid mother, when it says desire her not for pleasure, meaning that's not the only thing that she has to have other values, not just the box, not just a nice shape or a pretty face. What else is she bringing to the table? A lot of you simps out there, you have no standards. Here it is, these big, fat, overweight, bloated, 10 pizza eating heifers. They have all kind of standards for men, but you ain't got no standards. You just lay your rod in anything. Anyway, moving on. Verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Right? Because you had these other stupid bonehead think they're prophetesses. Well, Adam was the one that went off. No, bitch. The serpent didn't come to Adam. The serpent came to Eve. You dumb, stupid CUN to the T. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and 14. And Adam was not deceived. And I remember on the comment board some stupid CUN to the T, said that, Adam went off. That's why we, talking all kind of crazy shit. And I said, well, Eve was the first one that went off. And I hit her with this scripture, and she still wasn't having it. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. That's why, like Elder Pastor said, and I agree, you women, shalom, don't be putting no scripture. You bet, man, you put a scripture on there, you will be out of here. Inside joke, but for real. Well, that's what he's gonna do. I hope you ain't no scoffer, man, because you'll be right out of here right away. I ain't got no time for no fucking bullshit or foolishness today. Salaki, give me a minute. Hey, somebody get this clown out of here. Somebody get that clown out of there. Any of you brothers have the wrench, get that clown out of here. It's the Most High's program, not yours. Fuck you talking about? Why make 2/3 of Israelites to preach at them that you shut the hell up? Now get rid of that dude. Elder Hawad, get rid of that clown. Won't you go on the IUIC platform or vocab platform or something else? Because this ain't the place, my man. Somebody get rid of that clown. I'll do it. Fuck it. Okay, cool. The water, bro. Ain't no time for no fucking fool. You see this shit. I bet you a Shirley probably, I bet you a Shirley probably raised that clown. Ecclesiastes 24. Next time, like the Most High made it, he made a mistake. That's why I see what the Most High gonna fuck you dudes up in here, especially you motherfuckers that claim that you know that you're Israelites. You motherfuckers are the worst. You're the fucking worst. Talking about, the next time the Most High, shut the fuck up. Can't wait for the Most High to get you motherfuckers, man. Ecclesiastes 26, I'm sorry, 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Like we read in Timothy, 1 Timothy 2 and 14. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. She went off. But why did she go off? Because it was the plans of the Most High for her to go off. Boy. Verse Ecclesiastes 25:25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Why? Because if you give a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad, what the fuck you think she gonna do? She gonna defile herself. She gonna cause great shame to you. Now let's move into the next chapter, because we read that already. So let's just go to the 6th verse. We're going to jump around. We're going to go back to Lord's World 25th chapter. Ecclesiastes 26 and 6. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicated with all. Right now, when we go here, this is in the GNT. This is the same chapter, Ecclesiastes 26 or Sirach 26 and 6. It says, but a woman jealous of another woman causes heartache and grief. Her tongue lashes out at everyone, right? Because she's just angry. That's why it says here, and a scourge of the tongue which communicated with all, right? Because she ain't gonna hold her tongue. How many times you see these wildebeests out there, right? And the cop is trying to be cool, and the bitch just keep arguing and arguing and arguing and arguing and talking shit to the point where the cop just gets tired of her and just smashes her goddamn face against the bumper or the goddamn street. Then you have these clowns talk, oh, come on, man, what you doing? She's a woman. Well, the bitch should have shut the fuck up. That's the problem with you fucking people out here. You got no fucking discipline. You got no fucking manners. You act worse than goddamn animals in the goddamn wilderness. Animals got more sense than some of you. Animals conduct themselves better than you do, most of you. So it says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro, right? What they call them? I forget what they call it out there in England. He that hath the hold of her is as though he held a scorpion, right? Because if you hold a scorpion will sting you from the back or from the front. It says, a drunken woman, see, and a gatherer abroad causes great anger, and she will not cover her own shame, right? Because these women are shameless. And what does it say about a shameless woman? I was going to jump to that later, but let's get it now. The 26th verse. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. So what is a female dog? A bitch. So a shameless woman shall be counted as a bitch. So these women, they're going to cause, much anger and grief, and they're not gonna cover their shame. And you see that out there gathering abroad, loud as fuck. Every time you see them, they are on the phone, and they gotta, you don't want to hear that shit. You might be having a bad day. You might, and then they gotta fucking be so loud that they want you to hear their fucking conversation because they're looking for fucking attention. Or you're gonna get some attention, all right. Then female troops come through. Time of Jacob's trouble starts being in full bloom. Or you're gonna get all the attention you want. You're gonna get all that smoke. You're gonna get all that attention you want. When you see this devil hitting you in the back of the head with the butt of a rifle, you're gonna get all the attention you want, baby. Trust and believe that. It says the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. And let's go to the GNT so you can see. You can tell an unfaithful wife by the bold and flirting look in her eyes. See? Here it is. You got a woman married to her. She walking with you. Y'all going out. You doing your husbandly duties for her. Right? And then when you ain't looking, the bitch looking around, looking at other men, checking the other men out. So like you're flirting with other men. You might go to the bathroom. Might have took her out to go get something to eat or whatever. You go to the bathroom. She's flirting with, other men. She might even fuck around and pass a number to somebody else. And these fucking boneheads out here, they got no fucking integrity. They got no fear of the Lord. They're just going to go ahead and just jump on it. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to that one because I had that on the list, but let's go to it. 1 Timothy 5 and I didn't have the 14th verse, but let's go to 14. I will therefore the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, right? Give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully, meaning to speak against their husbands, bringing shame. And then they wonder why their life is turned upside down and the whole community is speaking against them. Bitch, you should have shut the fuck up. Whatever you and your man are going through, that's between y'all. Here it is, you fucking running and telling everybody at your job, your girls, other people, you at the laundromat, and running your mouth about your business. What you think's gonna happen? Most of these people out here, all they worried about is looking for some flaw in you or some bullshit that they can talk shit about you about. If you show some discretion, if you kept your goddamn mouth shut, if you kept, your business to yourself between you and your husband, this shit wouldn't happen. It says, for some are already turned aside after Satan. And a lot of you have turned aside after Satan. A lot of you are riding on Satan's shield. So some of you are even riding on his loincloth. All right, so let's go back. Sirach or Ecclesiastes 26 and 9 in the GNT. You can tell an unfaithful wife by the bold and flirting look in her eyes. Yep. So let's go back. Ecclesiastes 26 and 10 now in the KJV. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, right? Because if your daughter is shameless, meaning she's not going to cover her shame. She's bold. She's a bold bitch. And she's going to do whatever she want to do. And guess what? That's going to cause anger. That's going to cause shame. Because, yes, you'll be looked at in a fucked up light. But that is going to reflect on you as a father. Because they're going to look at you like you didn't lay the law down at the house. And in some cases, the man did lay the law down. But these bitches still do whatever the fuck they want. And why? Because this devil, this demon, this serpent, protects them. and encourages them to be that way. It says, keep her in straightly, meaning in a position of difficulty. You know, your daughter, the bitch, supposed to be learning how to cook, how to clean, how to sew, how to, how to do wifely duties. Not, just sitting around watching bullshit or going out wherever she wanted to go. No. When the woman is young, you're supposed to train her how to be a woman. But when you just let her not, just sit around, do nothing, be idle, they say that there's a saying, idleness is a playground for Satan or something along those lines. It says, least she abused herself through overmuch liberty. See? And you see it. You've heard of Elder Pastor R speak on it. 10, 12 o'clock at night, you see a pack of hyenas walking by. Doing what? Mischief. Mischief. When they should be home. This has been the worst fucking captivity ever. And then you have clowns on the comment board talking about, the Most High would have put the laws in them. Shut the fuck up, you dumb motherfucker. Boy, I tell you, boy, I see why Moses lost it, man. He said, Lord, did I have all these people? Jake will drive you fucking crazy if you let him. It says, watch over an impudent eye. Matter of fact, let's go here to, let's see what if she is too self-willed, see, be on guard and don't be surprised if she disappoints you. You see? So watch over an impudent eye and marvel not if she trespass against you. Right. Why? Because if you give her if you're not watching over her, keeping her in straightly, giving her chores to do, building her up, teaching her how to be a wife so she can, be a good wife to a man that, that you hook her up with, she's going to cause nothing but shame. Idle hands, devil's playground. Yep, there you go. That's it right there, bro. The water. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain. And we're going to go to the GNT because it goes in. And drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down and open a quiver against every arrow. This is poetic, right? The way it's written here is like poetic for saying she's a slut, pretty much. But here in the GNT, it says she'll spread her legs anywhere for any man who wants her, just as a thirsty traveler will drink whatever water is available. See? Boy, oh boy, do these scriptures got you women pegged. Oh, did I say pegged? Salakia. All right, so we read already 1 Timothy 5. So let's go from there to Ecclesiastes 26, which we were in verse 22. It says, and harlot shall be accounted as spittle. You see? She's going to be counted like spit. But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. And you see, like I have a little thing I do when I go out, in public, whenever I do go out in public, right? And like when I see these women, which one I'm talking about. I just look at their left hand to see, look at their ring finger to see if any of them are married. And guess what? 100% of the time, damn near, or at least 99.9% of the time, I see no rings on those fingers, no engagement or marriage rings. Because ain't nobody trying to marry these skanks out here. You got Diana Ross, her daughter. Damn, what the hell is her name? Forgot her name. She's like, what, 50, 51. I mean, she still looks amazing. She looks good as hell. She's trying to get married. Nobody trying to marry you. You know, I mean, she looks good. Men will pop her, have fun with her, but ain't nobody trying to marry that. These women have been used and abused. And now when they get to a certain age, now they want to settle down and get married. Or now they want to settle down and give their life to Jesus. Tracy Ellis, right, the water bro. Tracy Ellis Ross, which she's not really a Ross. She just took her, her mother, either her mother gave her that name or she took that name. She is what her father is. Some devils are asking for reparations when they should be asking for the destruction of this wicked kingdom run by Esau the devil. Well, they ain't gonna do that, bro. They're just lost in the sauce. I think men did this to women. Man, somebody get this guy out of here, please. Simp activity is live and popping. I think men did this to women. No, men didn't do this to women. Women are wicked by nature. We read it in the scriptures that these women are wicked by nature. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. And King Solomon said he went counting one by one to see if he could find a virtuous woman or a righteous woman. He said he didn't find one, but he found one man out of 1,000. Then we go to Proverbs 31, the virtues, the virtues of a virtuous woman is all laid out. But you know what's wrong in this society? These women from a young age are not taught. That's why here in let me see. Let's jump up to what is that? Right here, 14th verse. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Right? Because the older woman, like the grandmother and the mother and the aunties and all that, they were supposed to teach the younger women, the daughters, how to be women, how to conduct their life, how to cook, how to clean, how to have proper hygiene and all of that. But they didn't do that. Why? Because they didn't get it. These Captain Saber 304s got to go. That's right, brother. That's right. In the news. All right. So, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. This is, let me see, Ecclesiastes 25, right? And 14. A wife who doesn't talk too much is a gift from the Lord. Such restraint is admirable beyond words, right? Because they were well instructed. I like the way the King James puts it. And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. When you go to the book of Titus, the 2nd chapter, roughly around the 4th verse or so, it tells you how the older woman, matter of fact, let's get it. Titus. Verse 3, Titus 2 and 3. The aged women, likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Right. And what is holiness? The scriptures. Right. But what do these old women do? What do they do? A lot of them tell their daughters to be hoes, play the field, have your fun when you're young, enjoy your body, get as many men as you can. Don't think about settling down now. Wait till way later. Now here it is, you run down, you run through, and excuse my language, I'm just gonna be bold. Fuck it. The viscosity in the lips of your vagina just fall out because you don't have so many rods up there. The shit just fucked up. You got a blown out tire on aisle 7. Then you got to go to Esau to get surgery to get that shit fixed. No man wants no shit like that. But you do have some simps out there. So it says the aged women likewise that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers. And that's the thing with a lot of these women too. They'll see a man and a woman that got a good thing going. Yep, extreme wear and tear. That's right. That's putting it nice, brother. You being nice today. Not false accusers, right? Because you see a man and a woman might have a good relationship, but then you have some, wildebeest that's miserable because she ain't got nobody, and she'll start spreading rumors, and before you know it, get that man and that woman come against each other, and they have a fallout. And these women are taught that. They're brought up that way. They see that, and that these, when children are children, they're very impressionable, and they pretty much do what they see others do. And if that's just the norm for them, they figure, oh, it must be the thing to do. It says, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. See, supposed to, build these women up. And here goes some good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, which this word chaste or chaste, what goes back to chastity belt, is to keep their legs closed. The word there for chaste is what? Hagnos, which is holy. Exciting reverence, venerable, sacred, pure. See? But these women don't know how to be sacred or pure. Why? Because from a young age, they're either touched by one of their male, relatives, and then from that point on, they go buck wild. Or they'll go the opposite way. They'll become lesbos and go on a campaign of hating men. It says to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. And that's a hard thing for these women to do. Keep the home. Make sure the house is cleaned up. You go to some of these women's houses, and that shit, if you see the condition and state that they're in, if she don't take care of her house, what the fuck you think she does to her hygiene? Good, obedient to their own husbands, right? Because these women, they want to go to counselors, they want to go to their girlfriends, to, talk about the problems that they have with their man and all this and that. They won't obey. The man can give them the proper. I've heard it many times. Brother give a woman, the right judgment or the right counsel on what to do. The bitch don't do it, and then she gets fucked over, or something happens. But then the Edomite or somebody else tell her, and then she'll do, yeah, bitch, didn't I tell you that? I told you that 5 months ago. I told you that a year ago. That the word of the Most High be not blasphemed, right? Because the Lord set it up for the man and the woman to be together. And for that woman to be a faithful, good, loving help to that man. And this society is all backwards because the man can have more than one woman. If the woman would sit down and think, which that's hard to do for a lot of these women, right? You bleed once a month. You get pregnant. So what is a man to do while you're on your period or while you're pregnant? That's why the man had more than one woman. Because that way, once you were in that state, he has desires, he can go be with one of his other women. Everything works in a synergy. But this society, Esau and this society has, turned everything upside down. And that's where the Most High is going to turn it right side up. All right, so now let's go from there. Let's go back to Ecclesiasticus 26, and we were down here. I'll start here again. 22. And harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. See? A married woman and a woman that comforts her husband. The scriptures also speak about a woman that won't comfort her husband. You know, she causes feeble hands and weak knees. A wicked, yeah, one thing the elder pastor said years ago, and he still says it from time to time, you know, is, you know, hell wouldn't be so bad if our women were on our side and were there to comfort us instead of give us more hell. So it says, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. A dishonest woman contemneth shame. It says, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. See? So it's giving you the two opposites of the spectrum. Now, the majority of these women out here, especially in America, especially the so-called black woman, I can't even call you a Judite woman. They fall on the side of the weak, wicked women. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, a bitch. But she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. And in fearing the Lord, what will she do? She'll reverence her husband. She won't trespass against her husband. She won't be with another man. She won't be looking at other men, desiring other men. She'll be with her husband. It says, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. It says, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly. And that's the problem. These women have that super pride, that hubris, you know, that extreme pride. And you can't tell them anything. And Esau, that's Esau's playground right there. That's exactly where he wanted you at. And you fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. It says, a loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemies. And come on, man, who does this fit? You know, these so-called black women, man, loud as fuck for no reason. Here it is, they're across the street, you know, and you can hear the whole conversation word for word from across the street, her on the phone. My goodness. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, let's go back to the 25th chapter. Now we're going to give, we're going to, switch a little gear on it. Ecclesiastes 25:8. Well is him that dwelleth with the wife of understanding, see, and that hath not slipped with his tongue, and that hath not served a man more unworthy than himself. So dwells with a woman or a wife of understanding. Why? Because she was well instructed. She was brought up right. And when a woman is brought up right, and you have a man, that's so-called quote unquote good man, that's going to be a beautiful synergy. It's going to work. There's going to be a lot less stress. You're still going to have problems, such as I have troubles in the flesh, but I spare thee. But for the most part, things work. They'll work out because, you're in your proper order. But when you're out of your, what you were created for, that causes disorder. This causes dysfunction. And when the man and the woman get together, they're supposed to be one body, right? But if you go on rogue, that shit is going to fall apart. Now, let's go from there back to Ecclesiastes 26, because, I read this already, but I want to read it again. So I want to stress on the point. Ecclesiastes 26:14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. You can't put a price on it. All right? Now let's go back to Ecclesiastes 25:1. In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before the Most High and men: the unity of brethren, beautiful thing. The love of neighbors, beautiful thing. A man and a wife that agree together. See? She's not trying to be the man. She's not trying to be the head. She's not trying to dictate. She's doing her job. She's doing what she was created to do. All right, let's go from there to back to Ecclesiastes 26. We're just jumping back and forth. Verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. See? And that's why a lot of men today, they die a lot younger than women. Why? Because instead of the man comes home from work and all you do is fucking nag. And that's why, I used to wonder, like, years ago, when I was a lot younger, I used to wonder, like, why, like, cats that went to work, right, that were married, would dread the end of the day coming, and they would go to, like, a bar or something and try to wait to the last minute before they went home. I didn't fully understand it back then, but I see why. Because you're trying to get away from that goddamn dragon. A virtuous woman rejoices her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. See? A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. Now let's go from there, jump down to the 13th verse, right? It says, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones, right? Because she's not running out there and running her mouth of everything that goes on with them. She keeps her mouth closed, and then if she keeps her mouth closed, which a lot of these women can't do, she'll save herself a lot of headaches. But these women don't get it. The hyena is known for their distinctive vulgar vocalizations during social interaction. Yep. It says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. Woo! And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed, which we read that already, but it just hits home. It says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. Yeah. As the sun when it arises in a high heaven, it says, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. See? And this is key right here. As the sun when it arises in the high heaven, beautiful sight to see, right? You have people that get up early in the morning just to see the sunrise because it's so beautiful. So just as that's beautiful, it says, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. Now, how does she order her house? Well, let's go to Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31 is the guidebook for a virtuous woman. Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. See? It's hard to find a virtuous woman, especially these days. You know why? Because the majority of these women out here are not trained properly. And they've been taught to look down upon, their duties. They've been taught to rebel against their duties. As a woman, they want to play the role of a man. They want all the benefits that men get, but they don't want the responsibility. Oh no, that's too much. I just want to, I want to be in power, but I don't want to. Oh no, I don't want to deal with none of that. And that's why the serpent got Eve. It says, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. See? Because she does everything for him. He goes to work and she takes care of the rest. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. All right, now let's jump down to the 27th verse, and you can read through here. This is a lot of good meat, that what a woman does. The different. This is from Proverbs 31:10 to the end, right? This is the the blueprint or the instructions of a well trained mind. You know, a mind well instructed. This is it right here. This is the well instructed mind. And if a woman has these skills right here, guess what? And if she has virtue, she'll be a good wife to her husband. Verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. See, and when they're idle, which we didn't read it here, but uh, uh, First Timothy 5:12, having damnation because they have cast off their first faith, and withal they learn to be idle. And when a woman is idle, that's a recipe for disaster. Wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. And then they wonder why their life is so fucking miserable. So back in Proverbs 31:27, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Right, the scriptures speak about a husband giving a wife due benevolence. But in order to get a reward, you have to do things. You have to, merit those rewards. And these women think just because they got a box between their legs and some titties, and that's it. That's her contribution. Now, it goes far beyond that. That's a part of the nourishing of the relationship. But it goes far beyond that. There's a whole lot more to it. 2 Peter 3:13, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, right? Because that's the only time things are going to get back to where it's supposed to be. That's when we have the laws in our inward parts. The Lord didn't want us to have the laws in our inward parts just yet. We had to go through the learning experiences to get there. Now, when the Lord sets us back up, we have that experience under our belt. And we'll be the perfect judges on the planet. And that's pretty much it on that. I was going to do like a various topics, but the Spirit gave me that title, so we went into it. So, like I said, I put the video in the description box. You can watch at your own risk. It's very disheartening. I mean, I think I watched 11 minutes and some change, and I had to stop it. But it's sad, man. The shit that goes on in this world. Especially among Jake. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.